What's up, guys? All right, I am Dr. Chris Park, a family physician and addiction doctor, and today I want to talk about a problem that a lot of my patients struggle with, and that's depression and self-doubt. Now, the truth is, we all struggle with depression, self-doubt, anxiety, at least some of the time. But a lot of my folks that I treat, this is a daily battle, and one that they feel like they're losing. There's this common thread that I see in a lot of people who struggle with depression, and it's called a negative mental filter. Now, a negative mental filter is when you filter out all the positive aspects of something and you only see the negative. And the reason this is so detrimental is because it causes you to create a world where everything sucks and everything bad always happens to you. And the truth is, that's not reality. That's a fictitious world. It's made up. It's only in your mind. And who wants to live in that world? And so it becomes a vicious cycle. It causes you to be more depressed, and you have a hard time seeing your way out. Now, I'm going to give you 2 ways to fix the negative mental filter. One is to identify it. Just know that it's there. So every time you have a negative thought in your mind, like you start thinking you're not good enough, or that you start thinking this always happens to me, or you start thinking, I can never do this, or I can never do that, or you start thinking that there's no way out for you. Whenever you start thinking these negative thoughts, I want you to stop and just make a mental note. Maybe write it down if you can, but you don't have to. Just make a mental note and say, okay, this is a negative thought, but this is not all of the situation, right? Because every situation, there's good, there's bad, there's black, there's white, there's shades of gray. So identify it, then move on. Do this for several days in a row, just so that every time it happens, you can stop and you know it's happening. You don't have to fix it yet. But after you've done that for several days, I want you to do something. If you're interacting with another person and you start to have a negative thought about that person, I want you to immediately think of 2 positive things about that person. It can be something as simple as they've got a nice haircut, or I know they take good care of their kids, or they're always on time for work. Anything like that that's positive. For every negative thought, think of 2 positive things. Identify it, and then think 2 positive thoughts about the thing. If it's hot, if it's 90 degrees outside, like right now, it's Mississippi, it's August, it's hot. But we can be grateful that there's air conditioning. We can be grateful that we've got a place to go inside away from the heat. We can be grateful that we have sunglasses. There's always something. I know these seem simple, silly, and trivial, but I'm telling you, this makes a huge difference. This way of thinking, when you start to look at a situation from a different angle or a different viewpoint, it's called reframing. Reframing is going to be how you start to look at the world in a different way. You've created a negative reality, and by reframing, you can actually create a positive reality. Now, I know if you're struggling with depression, you're going to think that this is, out of reach for you, but I promise it's not, okay? So the goal is that every day we push forward a little bit further and we get a little bit better every day. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I just want you to be an optimist like me. And you're right. I do want you to be an optimist. But see, optimism isn't about seeing the bright side of things, okay? I know bad things happen. I know your kids are going to get bullied. You might lose your job. You might get cancer. You might get a debilitating illness that you can't work anymore. You might be just a couple of months away from being bankrupt and without enough money to pay a power bill. But even so, there are people that went through the exact same thing and didn't have the suffocating stigma of depression on their backs. There's a way through it, guys. See, optimism is not seeing the bright side of things. Optimism is knowing that there's dark places in this world, but getting through it anyway. So guys, I hope this was helpful. Get out there, go into those dark corners of the world, hold up a candle, and let your light shine. Thanks for watching.